welcome back to the second half of Hacking Infinity Meatybones!
Barbecue chips and unlimited cell phone data is what's saving the situation. This is why I pay for it. What? Hello.
And,
You were in a cave talking about whether or not something was being siphoned away. I kind of got part of the feed for that.
oh yes,
Did I
and
miss
yeah,
anything
there's
else?
some mention that it could be a parasite, but it
Mm-hmm.
could be a lich or a devil or something horrible as well,
Mm-hmm.
draining off the energy
Mm-hmm.
or some other effect.
Cool.
Oh.
All right.
And I have addressed my inadequate supply of stuffed toys to hold up, so I can.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. So I'll make that
Strongly
a
approve.
monster, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll be all good. We'll be all set. Let me just. I'm gonna do one more thing before we. Yeah. Oh, my internet's up now, but the last time it was down for 5 minutes. Yeah, you guys robot out, and then you like get real choppy, and then I'm like, oh,
Same for us. I think we're seeing the same
yeah,
thing for each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I had mentioned like moments before, I'm like, oh, Skype did that weird like spiral thing. I was like, oh, it had me worried, but it seems okay, guys.
Yeah.
Ah!
And you
It's
were
not
okay
Skype's
for a
fault.
little bit there, but then yeah,
Yeah,
after just a bit.
yeah. Let me see if I can't open RPGlory and get that chat back up, and just in case this fails for some reason. It should be fine. It's a good setup. It's very well balanced on a bunch of paintings and some orange peels, and we're good to go. So you were investigating, and you figured out like you were underground. There was water nearby. You heard voices with some of your perception checks, um, and you managed to teleport this whole place. And there are some like crystals left, some teleportation crystals that as the magic begins to fade, they turn back to that purple the closer, um, like as long as Neoville is in a certain distance away from them. Like if they're very close, it and you're messing with them, it activates the green. But if they're farther away from the crystals, then they're their natural like soft green color that sort of matches the light that you had cast before you were you. Um, yeah. So what would you like to do if you're in this cave system? There's massive sort of dimming crystals on the other side. There's a pathways through and around, and there's somewhere conversation or a voice or something, some sort of noise that sounds like language.
I'm guessing we should go that way.
Yes, I'm not the only one that hears that.
Oh, are you normally inclined toward? This isn't a hallucination, but are you normally inclined towards hallucinations?
No, but it's always good to check.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Well, yes, you will lead the way. After all, you have been thrust upon with the mantle of leadership.
Uh, well, okay. So I know that
There's the matter of we're giving you money.
yeah, I know that there's some virtue in maybe glory or some other useless thing like that in leading from the front, but now.
Oh, well,
Gib steps forward, like, and then shakes Neoville. Neoville's like, what happened? He's like, oh, right, got this. I got this. All right, you tell me where to go, and I'll go there. Like starts to walk, but he's still being held in the air. And Gib just like slowly sets him down, like a puppy that you've pulled out of the water. Sets him down, like starts walking off. Where are we going?
Well, yes, welcome back to the land of the living, and I suppose the very lively. We're hearing some voices, and um, they're that way, and we're going to let you lead the way.
All right. I got most of that. I still got this ringing in my ears. He kind of like pops a tooth out and like, I'm just gonna. And he like starts walking off while he adjusts his dental situation.
Mm-hmm.
And where are you telling them to go? Which way? Or down the middle, down the sides, over the cliffs? Where would you tell them to go?
Well, which way is the talking coming from?
Around to the, like, if you're looking at the cavern, around to the right. Probably it's very echoey. So you can kind of hear it from every direction, but with an 18, you can kind of tell it's probably coming from like at least that direction in the back, maybe near where the massive crystal like geode is on the underside of this space. But yeah, that's a good way to head.
Shall we? And then they like gesture in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as long as there's, hired help in front, I feel no reason to try and sneak up.
So Gib like, he's like, be careful up behind as well, and like walks forward, following Neovel as they like kind of stagger walk, and every once in a while he just like shifts them back on the lane. And you head off into the darkness. Are you lighting any torches? There's a vague dimness here because of the crystal sort of like bouncing off in the area that will get brighter as you head towards it. But are you doing anything like torches or magical lights or another thing that I didn't mention?
I guess, yeah, I would do like a little, if there's any like kind of light cantrip kind of thing, just a little like fairy light kind of thing.
That goes off again, and you are now lit around you in the cave system, and you head off in the darkness. It winds. The path doesn't quite follow. It branches off a couple of times, and Yvel is going to use I think so. Oleg has investigation and persuasion. I think Neovel would have, since they're athletics, survival, and sleight of hand, so they're going to have advantage of this one. Yeah, they managed to find their way, and as you walk along this cave, it's about 20 minutes or so, and the voices fade in, and then it sparks up again. And the closer you get to like the back corner of this place, you can kind of see like not just the lights of the crystals, but lights of, you think, firelight being like echoed, refracted off the close crystals, and you notice that you're approaching a sort of inset cave that has been carved into the wall, and you can sort of hear like not just conversation as you walk out. Still a bit echoey and hard to hear. There's a pleasant warmth coming from it. Do you want to do anything, or do you wish to carry on?
Yeah, I don't think, other than the conversation going in and out a little, I don't think and it being warmer, I don't think anything has changed, right? Other than, so we'll just.
Well, you could stop to like try to see if you can hear the voices a little clearer. You can like look around the area to see if there's any more clues, or you can just keep carrying on.
Mm-hmm. Gervona's still
you're
like
making stuff up as much as I am, so
yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Gervona's still like trying to rip through this book, but at this point she's torn like all of the pages apart, and now is like trying to like flip through for information that isn't the pages of information about the cave entrance that we've already been through and trying to find things that sound familiar.
Sure.
And trying to chase down the light that Oleg is putting out because she
That's
can't.
weird.
Yeah, without being like in the front because yeah, and then like there's like bodies walking in front of the light, and she has. Please move to the left a little bit, please, but still in front. I promise you, I bought this for a reason, and she's still like trying to.
Yeah, I like the idea that like one of your grandchildren's husbands or had a had it, but you still had to buy it. Like you still had to pay for it because you've raised business savvy kids and they've passed that along to theirs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Would you like to roll to see if you can figure out something interesting while you're walking along?
Makes total sense. What do you think that is?
I think it'd be a wisdom check.
Okay.
But with disadvantage because the light's bad and you're walking and in this cave.
All too true. Wow.
Yeah. So what do you find that is interesting to you? Like what clue do you find? Is it something about this cave that you're in? Is it something about the denizens that might live here? Or is it something like we never went down to the deep to hear some rumors? And it's not something incredibly big because it was only just a regular success. Or I could make something up if you would like.
I might spend my plot point here to make it something incredibly useful. I find exactly where the. I find one exactly where the. Like, this person has found the crystals that we're looking for, and what pathway leads up to the crystals.
Okay.
But it's not like a map straight to it. It's like.
Sure.
It's like critical information, though.
So what you find is like as you're sort of walking along, you pass a stalagmite and you're like, oh, light, and then the stalagmite passes and you realize like it lights up the page, and then you look up and then you look down at the page and you're like, wait a second, and you like hold it up, and it's the place that you're in right now, which means you have a pathway out should you wish to leave this place. I don't know why you would ever want to leave this dark cave full of crystals and low voices, but
yeah, exactly. Everyone I just found our way out, and I was right. I know I didn't have a bet or anything, but I could feel your doubt.
And he was like, what was that?
You know, Jerome, I have the utmost confidence in you. And that's...
Quiet, you.
You know what it means when they say that.
I'm not being sarcastic at all.
I don't know, sounds like he's being sarcastic. Maybe just a cold thing, I don't know.
What I was saying is I found that this drawing corresponds to this place exactly. You see how this stalagmite finally reaches this stalactite where none of the other ones do. And there's this crystal patch on the ceiling, and there's a cave right behind us that's leading upward. This is the escape. This is another way that they came through without using the teleportation that maybe we should have been more careful about. But here we are.
Yeah, who's to say whose fault that was? Nobody will ever know. And Theova like looks and is like, what's that mean? And it points, and sort of like roughly where this lit cave is, it has like 2 rectangles with like lines between them and like a wiggly part on top. But can't quite figure it out. I don't know. Have either of you or any of you ever seen that symbol before on maps and stuff while you're journeying around?
So it's two
It's like a
lines with
cave
a
shorthand.
wiggly.
It's two rectangles,
Mhm.
and the upper rectangle has a wiggly bottom, and it's got two lines.
I'm saying yes. I just rolled a 17, so I've decided that yes, I have seen it.
It's a pretty standard market for like trader or marketplace. Like it's like a little stall with the lines and like the wiggly banner.
This symbol means trader or marketplace.
Man, you're so clever.
Of course.
What's the
I
smartest guy
read
I
it
know, Oleg?
in a book.
I gotta read more of those things. I'm gonna get to the surface. I'm gonna get a book. He makes a note in his notebook to get a book.
Well, I guess we should approach, and then we'll maybe we'll trade for information.
Oh, you could trade for. You don't need to like just trade for stuff. You can trade for like no ones. Yeah,
We'll
learn
see.
something new every day. Neville heads it towards the cave with like a gusto that they've kind of shaken themselves into. Yeah, and you head in, and you do hear voices. And what?
Of course,
I think
if
you
I
wanna-
was trying, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you can go.
Of course, if I was trying to lure people into a false sense of security deep underground, I might
And
set
then
up.
Neville says, "Holy crap! Look at all this stuff!" From like ahead of you as you're talking about traps.
Yeah, I might put out the glyph for marketplace in order to conceal my deadly trap, but it's not necessarily that. So yeah, by all means proceed.
Maybe your
Emphasis
grandkid's trying to
on
kill
my.
you for heritage.
I mean, that would take truly kobold thinking here, and if they're fellow kobolds, then we can probably get along, except for if there's like a clan difference, in which case it'll be bloody. But we'll just have to find out.
Yeah. So you all head into this lit, warm space, and it is a little marketplace, being staffed by a number of small in stature, mostly folks, and there's a couple of dwarves sort of walking around. There's like maybe 8 different stalls with different things like glowing orbs and like a bowl of tentacles out because it's the Underdark. Yeah, and there's like a little cage with like a sand pit, like you would find a hamster, and it's got like a tiny little worm, like a purple worm, but it's like a baby. Yeah, and there's like piles of like old armor, like a lost and found, that's just like being cleaned in the corner, and like people are like picking through it, like a Goodwill bin. Yeah, and it's not as like boisterous and loud, but it is quite active and lively. So you enter this space.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'll look around a bit, and then
Are you looking for anything specifically?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Traps? Kobolds?
Is there anybody running a stall that looks like they've been here longer than the others? Just from like dust on their stuff, or just like I recognize a fellow crotchetiness.
Yeah, or like in the place, like Well, give me a perception check as you like peer around at these market stalls.
Yeah.
There are definitely like some newer folk here. There's not like one person that's like the head thing, but you can see a couple of stalls that are like older than the others. So like they're selling gems, like the classic stuff, like cut gems, and like the baby purple worm one is one of the older stalls too. Like experts in their field, you would imagine.
Okay. Definitely I'll approach the person selling the baby purple worm because like Shades
Sure.
of Dune.
Yeah, and they have other creatures as well, but that's like the new today. But the sign looks kind of old, like those radio stores that's like grand opening, closing soon, within a week. Like they always have that closing soon sign up. Yeah.
So I have several other questions, but the one that's foremost on my mind is and who's the stall seller? Is it
Um,
or
it's
proprietor?
the proprietor is a round man, but short. You would imagine if you were a halfling and very fat, it'd be like you, like very sharp features, like their ears are kind of pointed, but they're like very not, there's a word, it's like not opulence, it means very, very fat. Corpulent?
Corpulent.
They're a
Yeah.
corpulent kobold. Yeah. Yeah. But like with slightly smoother features though, because they've filled out. So their teeth are like kind of like filed down a little bit to make them seem more personable.
Adorable.
Okay. Filed down to seem more personable seems like a
Like instead of being
confident.
sharp and pointy,
Okay.
they're flattened.
Okay.
Yeah. Not filed to points. They were points. Now they're less points.
I see.
Yes.
So, I have several questions, but foremost on my mind is
Oh, hello, friend.
hello.
Welcome to my stall.
Uh,
I see you have a discerning eye. You came to me first. I watched you come in.
yes, but did I come here for? I mean, is that worm intended as a pet or food or?
After you buy it, it's in your hands. I'm just saying,
Alright.
with the investment I'm asking, it's pretty worth it. You want to keep it forever. Make it your friend. Growing up a couple decades. You look like a young, sprightly fella.
Really? Perhaps we can make a trade. I'll
A
give
trade, you
some.
say? What are you? You're a businessman yourself.
Yes,
What are
yes.
you dealing?
Well,
Carpets? Lamps?
I-
Jewels?
I think if I'm trying to be helpful, I would give you some glasses.
Glasses? I don't need glasses, buddy. My vision's 20/20. 20. Perfect. All three of those 20s. Last one is not because it's in us fine.
Darling, 2020 is just average. 4-4 is perfect.
Yeah, but I got that third 20 on there. I had him added in. So it means I'm better than average.
As you say, darling.
Look, if you have 20/20 vision, then that means you roll 20 on one die and one on the other. So even if you have disadvantage,
Exactly.
you still crit the perception check. Yeah.
Exactly. They have double advantage on their vision checks. This one knows. Look at you tall drinking something. Can I interest you in you look fancy. Maybe one of these. And he holds up a jar and it's just like something glowing inside, like flitting around. Yeah, these are pretty rare. You don't see them down in the Underdark very often. Yeah,
Are they like?
It's a sprite. Yeah, I got some friends on the surface. I got a good deal for them. I got a bunch in the back. But
Are they
one's the
sort of
best.
like crystal fish or something like that?
It looks like Navi. Like it looks like he
Yeah.
That's why he
Yeah.
said sprite instead of sprite.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Mhm. Anyone? I mean,
taken away, and then taken away to the back to like look at the entire like.
oh, you want to be taken to the
collection.
back?
Yeah.
He's like, I would, but I got so many boxes back there. You know, I would hate to have something to have. I don't have the insurance papers for it, but yeah, I mean, I can bring out something if you got a special request. I know a lot of guys, and
I
they
find
like stuff.
myself to be so patient up there, and I look up at the surface broadly, and then but down here I find myself to be so impatient.
Yeah,
Please
weird,
show me
huh?
more of these
Man.
sprites,
Sprites.
because I am reinventing myself.
So yeah,
Brilliant.
these sprites are they
Yeah.
seem a
They're real
little
delicate. You gotta be gentle with them. So
they seem kind
they're
of unusual for down here. Are they from the surface?
oh yeah. Apparently they got them all over the place up there. I don't know where you guys are from. You look like surface folks with all your shiny clothes and ration packs. Adventurous. Yeah. No, these are
Yeah,
great for you. Like
something
if you're
like
ever sick, you can just like pop one in your mouth and makes you feel better. I had like 3 this morning for breakfast. It was great.
I'm just the help.
It's gonna be the hard sell and like multi-packing these sprites up.
So Gerona's just like, rations, and then she takes the Tupperware of hearty wedding soup and just opens it up.
Like that.
Smell this.
And he like sticks his like long pointed nose like almost touching the soup, and he's like, oh, that's got a lot of smells in it. I give you that. That is something. That is you're frozen. Your camera's frozen. That's what that is. I think opening this can of Tupperware made you turn to stone. But they seem to be pretty distracted by this soup. In case you wanted to do anything while you're there. Oh, just so you know, with that perception check, you did notice like it is like a small like eyes are watching you like you're a new person, so you're not completely unobserved, but it is sort of bustling. So there are people like
This hobby,
over every once in a while.
Can hear you.
Oh,
we are going places together as a society and as a culture. Oh look, I'm unfrozen.
Indeed.
Welcome back. You have distracted this person with your soup, giving the opportunity for your friends to do a thing if they wish to.
Awesome. I love it.
So
I'm perfectly content. You go right ahead.
So yeah, I guess when you open up the wedding soup, I'm all, oh yes, we were talking about a trade. Smell this soup. I mean, this is not the sort of thing that
I'm smelling the soup. I got my nose right in it.
Yeah, this is not the sort of thing that you would find down here. The tubers that are available here are entirely different from the surface tubers, and what you can smell there, that's just like the first hint of how good this wedding soup is.
I take like a chopstick, like a pair of chopsticks, and I like pull like a leafy substance out, and I'm like, look at this. This is spinach, right?
Is it? Okay, yeah. No, I've seen that before.
Wrong! It's seaweed, and it's delicious. And then I eat the seaweed.
He's like, oh god, you startled me for a second. You're very loud. So are you? What is your goal here? I feel like a dual role is.
So I'm trying to talk up the soup to make it seem like it is the best thing ever and that it is worth trading for.
So I think this is a negotiation roll. So we're gonna set some rules up of the things that you would like and the things that they would like, and we're gonna have a nice old fashioned roll off to see what happens to that.
Cool.
So think of 3 levels of things that you would like from this vendor, and they will think of 3 levels of things that they would like from you. First level for them is that soup and the recipe for that soup. They gotta have that soup.
Clearly.
And you can talk about this together as a group because it is sort of like your group is negotiating together. So their first rule is gotta have that soup. And whatever is rolled, like something will happen, depending on the stages and the difference in your rules together. Okay.
Well, what do we want for our first level of information, Brad? Do we want a map of this area, like thorough knowledge of how to get around here, or do we want to know where the crystals that we're looking for are?
Yeah,
I
think about
think...
like what you're not asking me, you're asking him.
Exactly.
Like, so it's things that he can provide. He may not know where the crystals are. He may not have a map, but he might. So we'll figure that out.
Okay.
He may know a guy. I know a guy who has maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think definitely one level should be information on how to get the hell out of here. Maybe a deeper level is who to talk to find out what the deal is with the crystals, what's going on with them.
Good.
And
I think for the second level for him, he wants you to just buy a shit ton of sprites. Like, he wants to make a deal.
Oh, easy.
Okay.
Yeah, like a Sprite multi-pack, like a 6-pack of Sprites. No apologies. Never apologize for anything.
You never did anything wrong. You
never done anything wrong.
That gets by. That gets
Money,
by.
please.
Yep.
And you said that we should come up with 3 levels?
3. Yeah. Because if they get a 5 and you get a 20, then that's a 3-level split.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just beat them, then you'll get a clearer map. And so.
I guess
it wouldn't hurt to know what's dangerous around here and how to avoid it.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be information that would be easy for them to have since they live down here.
Yeah. So what's dangerous? And just so you know, like a 6-pack of Sprites is going to cost you like, I think 2 supplies since it's the second level of negotiations. And then if you fail so bad, they want you to buy that worm. They want you to buy that worm. And I think we'll just keep that as a 3 supplies. No, I'll do it at 4 supplies because it's a baby worm and that's intense. Or you can try to negotiate through, but they will get something worth that. Yeah. Okay. So, negotiation. I think. How did I run it before? Was it just a straight D20? And then we see what the split is. It's been so long. We played last October.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
So straight D20 rather than a skill, because I was angling for like deception.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll have. I mean, it'll be the same. Like they'll have advantages in this, like because trading is what they do. So if you want to roll 2d20 plus 2, or just your thing.
Okay.
Is what it works out to.
Okay.
And then take the best. All right.
Great.
Oof. Yeah. They just beat you. You got a 10. They got a 12. So I think it's they won, so they get that soup.
Right.
Yeah. I think they just like the conversation goes of like, oh man, I gotta have the soup. Like I'll definitely help you, but I gotta get that soup first. Yeah, and you like, all right, yeah, here's that soup.
All yours.
Okay.
Like, all right, now we can really start negotiations. What do you guys need? And you're like, oh wait, that wasn't.
Yeah, but the biggest bargaining chip. Yeah. Oh well, yeah. First, let's give you our bargaining chip. Now let's negotiate.
Yeah. And I think this is only the second time I've done this. I think if you want to negotiate again, if he wins his baseline, the next thing he gets is the Sprite 6-pack. So if you lose at least 2 supplies. But if you win, you could still get all those things if you want to keep
Okay.
going through this. Like, the cost has been raised. The difficulty is still the same, but yeah. So when he's like, "Oh my god, this is such good soup," and he's like drinking them. He's like, I can see. Like, puts it like under the counter very delicately. Did another one of you have a skill you wanted to use for negotiation to see if you could come at it a different way, or do you want Curdle to keep going with their business acumen? And that word of the day site is not it's not helping me. I can only barely remember the words.
Well,
well, okay. Since I'm not hearing anything, I'll go ahead and say, well, I mean, if you like that soup, just think how much how much you can get for it from others. How well the I mean, it's very healthy soup. You could keep your creatures alive for like
I gotta look at my health.
twice,
Like,
3 times as long as normal.
And his
I
whole
mean,
body jiggles.
But I mean, obviously,
That
for
would be
you
an
to
investment.
get more of the soup, we'd have to be able to get back to the surface. So there's that.
I can see your point. Yeah.
And before we could even start heading back to get you more soup, the whole reason we're down here is to investigate the whole these crystals. You know about the glowing crystals?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, but
Use them a lot.
they haven't been glowing quite the way they used to, right?
Oh, that's a shame. That's a terrible shame.
Maybe
He's like,
you know.
You see his eyes like dart to the soup bowl every once in a while. He's like, oh yeah, that's awful. God, I'm sorry for you guys on the surface. It's hard not having your own crystals.
So maybe you know who we could talk to about that. Get to the bottom of it.
I don't know. I might. I know a lot of people. Let me cast my memory back as we roll some dice. Give me a persuasion check as you're having a nice, lovely conversation with him.
Okay. Okay. So as and then once I mention these things,
you have to roll how you role played.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And he's gonna. I'm gonna boost up history as he knows a guy, but I'm gonna drop because you are being friendly. So give me a persuasion check to see how well you got a 10. Oh, you got a 12. Yeah, you got him. And for that, he's like, yeah. I think Tiny Tim over there has a map. Tiny Tim. I don't know. He's one of the new guys. He's always leaving and coming back. He was gone for a few months before. Maybe I'll have a flash. Hey, Derek, and he closes his stall down and he's like, here, you watch. And he puts like this weird like spiny toad on with like several eyes. It's just like, let me know if anything happens. And he walks over to Terry's stall. Like, Terry, need a map. I got some friends here. Gotta get some stuff going. Like, Terry like kind of stands up. It's very long, very thin, like 2 sets of arms. Yes, I will get that map of what you need a map of. Specifically, I have, and he gestures, and it's just like scrolls and scrolls and scrolls of maps and like different like rubbings of stuff. He has like some like kind of framed old ruin stuff. What do you need?
Well, really just the route to the surface.
Which route would you like? I have one that goes through drow encampments. Do you need
Maybe
a
not
road to your home?
Well, unless
he's like going through. So it's like, do you wish to stop by the Drogar? They have a festival coming up. I'm sure it'll be lovely for you to visit.
Well, I don't know. Gerona, do you want to look up some old friends on the way? No such thing, huh?
But Curdle, I don't think Curdle is the type for. I think he's very no nonsense. Jervon is just like putting all of the guilt onto you. You're no nonsense, and you want to get to the top as quickly as possible. And I'd love to stay, but you're all about.
Oh, and also, in your book, you have like a rough like pathway up to the surface.
Mhm.
So if you wanted like a more updated one, you could do that, or if you wanted the map of something else, like this area or
Mhm.
some other thing that you thought of, but you could get a very clear map to the surface that would save you should you, I don't know, have to run from something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want a map to the surface?
Yeah.
To the surface? Okay.
Mhm.
The safest, most scenic map to the surface that avoids all of the Underdark denizens and Mykonin. So what they do is they don't make maps unless there's a purpose for them. So they give you the Flump map. And the Flump map is do you all know what a Flump is? It's like a jellyfish. They're the nicest of all of the Underdark denizens. They're lovely creatures.
Mhm.
And underrated and underutilized. Yeah, so it passes by a conclave of flumps to visit, should you wish to, and then it takes you up to the surface, not too far away from where the like not like maybe like an hour or so away from the town that you came from, because with all that water there, they have to be careful to avoid certain terrains underground.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you now have
Yep.
a map, a safe map. Absolutely. And did I name the merchant man?
I don't remember you doing so.
Yeah. Don't recall his name.
Okay. His name's Grindelwald.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Just making notes because what happens in a Meatybones games happens in all other Meatybones games.
Yay.
Now this place exists. And Tiny Terry exists. And
Mhm.
Grindelwald exists.
Mhm.
It's a lovely name.
Nice, it's my mother's.
Grindelwald. Mm.
So the place
I have to
where,
say his voice, Hawker. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good word for it.
Yeah.
The place we were coming out is like on the same cliffside as our town is, or is it like over?
No, it's just like it's in the next field over.
Ew.
Because there's so much water. Yeah,
Mhm.
but it gets you up to the surface.
Will we have to take an airship back?
No, you could travel there. Like it's
Okay.
like a couple hours away by foot.
Okay, fair.
As long as you have your feet, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Once we get back to the surface, we're much less likely to get eaten.
That's true.
Depending on the migration season. Anyways,
Yeah.
you guys have a map. Is there anything
I
else you
feel-
should look for here?
I feel like being eaten by a giant bird would be worse anyway. I think you'd have more time to realize what was happening. At least down here, as you say, you wouldn't feel a thing.
Oh, but I said that about the explosion. I mean, if you're eaten, that you get
I'm
trumped by
transferring
jaws
that to
and
all
then
perils
possibly
down here.
dissolved,
No.
and yeah.
No, that's
no fun at
all
all.
peril down here. It's universal now. It's in canon. If I perish down here, it will be like passing into sleep.
Okay.
I'm choosing to believe that. You cannot stop me.
And,
That's true.
I think,
Yeah, I won't mention any of my cousins or nephews who have been slowly digested over the course of generations. No, I won't do
I
that.
like you, so I shall allow you to stay.
that would be awful. Like, you're being digested, but you still have enough time to start a family. I mean, there's cities inside some giant worms from the people that get eaten. Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. So I think Gib walks up to you, like with Neva, like, boss, oh, like, look what I found, and he holds up a gold, like, plated, like a bunch of plates stuck together, like ball, like that's the size of a volleyball. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's like, look, I got a good deal for it. And you notice, like, one of the things on his packs is missing. I made a trade. I didn't need the thing anyways. I was done with.
Oh well, what is this?
It's an incredibly useful thing. I don't know, that's what the sign said. What do you think it is? Like, they hold it up to you.
I haven't the faintest. It's quite fetching, though.
Yeah, it was real shiny.
Do
Yes, I do.
Maybe recognize it? Like, as a Arcana thing?
Give me.
Yeah, that's more your field of knowledge.
Yeah, I think you can, but the DC is 15.
Right.
It's just a ball.
Well.
Easy. Not only do you know what it is, you also know what it is. It is an incredibly useful thing. It has 3 charges in it, and by shifting the plates around and sort of like focusing your magical energy on what you need, it can pop into like a little robot. It can pop into like a clawed hand that you can wear as a weapon. It can like kind of break apart and scatter into like jacks that you can scatter behind you. It has like you've never seen this model before, so you're not quite sure what'll happen when you like push all the buttons at once in sequence. But you kind of like turn it slowly, like Nevil's like you're like shaking it, but you kind of shake and carefully like turn it upside down, and you hear like a very slight like sloshing, like shh, shh. Yeah, like there's some like sand maybe, or like a liquid. It's diffused with the black brass plating, but yeah.
As all that's happening, I'm like, now Neoville, this does count as treasure because it's an object and we're bringing it back up to the surface. So
what? No,
I will petition that you receive it, but I can't make any guarantees if we don't find much more.
Well, I mean, and Gib like thinks is like, yeah. Actually, give me a persuasion check.
Sure.
To see if this lowers the morale of the group. I think there is a look that passes between Gib and Neoville and Oleg.
Yeah.
A look that they've given before, perhaps at a fortune teller's office. Many months ago.
Oh my.
Yeah, like, boss, anything you say.
We're gonna stab you in your sleep, but anything you say.
Yeah, so morale has dropped 2. Because that's not just a bad one, that's a very bad one.
That's a very bad one.
Yeah, so morale has dropped to disenfranchised instead of just unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but they seem okay with it. They agree. And... yeah, I'll just hold on to that. I wouldn't want to I'll keep your hands free in case anything happens. Just for safety's sake.
Yes. And to Jerbona, this is just a like an offhand comment, like of just like keeping the rules as probably like as legalistically, like technically it's like it's stuff that you're bringing back up to the top. Like she doesn't care about it really, but yeah.
But Torchbearer style, like, everything that you bring up is treasure. So no matter how you got it. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to admit that's not a half bad find. The construction on this is rather ingenious, and
Yeah. Yeah.
while
I
it
didn't.
uh, in some ways resembles the topography of a Lamarchand box, I don't think that if you I don't think if you solve it, it'll open a gateway to hell. Probably not.
Oh, I hope so. That
But-
it doesn't. I hope that it doesn't.
Yeah,
And
but
then, like, there's another glance
Yeah.
between him and Gib.
but if you
That'd be
do
awful.
like twist it a few times and like fish hooks come out of it, definitely dodge. Because you don't want
All
those
right.
fish hooks to hook into your face and
But I won't
pull
dodge
you
for you,
into hell.
friend. I'll make sure that if anyone gets pulled into hell, it's me. That's what you hired me for.
Well, that actually would be outside of the expected.
Oh, so I don't have to? Great.
No, if you can avoid going to
Good to know.
hell
He pats you on
by
the shoulder.
you know
No,
by
no,
fish
no.
by fish hook, then
Hell is beyond
by
the
all
scope
means do
of
so.
this. Yeah, and Curdle and Girono just talking at the same time.
Yeah, sorry.
It's like old friends who have tea together all the time.
Yeah,
They just have their
exactly.
own conversations. They weave it around. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Like there's just different parts where we're just responding to each other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You've told the same story over and over again.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wish to investigate in this marketplace?
So
Oh, like you want a new wheelbarrow? Probably find one of those here.
Oh no.
Book, can you hear us?
Person of spirit.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like a new wheelbarrow?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I may have briefly, my consciousness might have slightly left my body, but it's back
That's
now.
okay. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Happens to the best of
wheelbarrow,
us.
you say? I'm listening.
There's a little three-wheeled hand cart, so even more wheels. Yeah, like a dark mahogany with like horses on the side.
Oh, mahogany. Oh, so tasteful. Oh my. I simply must have this. What is the price? Bring me up to speed on the situation here. I'm
Okay, so
suddenly very interested.
Now conveyances are still treasure.
yeah, and Gibbs nods. And I was like, oh, of course. So for a lovely carved mahogany, the other way around, carved mahogany, three-wheeled hand cart. I think it's 2 supply, but you may be able to talk them down or figure something out that you have to trade. Like maybe one of your supply is super fancy.
How many supply am I being paid
You
for
have-
this?
You have
mission I'm
3
on?
supply right now.
Oh, well. Then I mean, I don't haggle. I'm not some fishwife. I'm just going to give the entity their 2 supply and be
Okay.
1 wheelbarrow the richer.
All right. So yeah, you're down to 1 supply, but you have a really well-made mahogany cart.
This is just, I'm simply beside myself with joy.
And since you
I
didn't
like
haggle,
throw in it immediately.
they throw in like a canoe paddle to like push yourself along should you need to.
Oh, darling, one doesn't propel themselves. That's the whole point of having one of these. But I appreciate the gesture nonetheless.
Gib like reaches around you and takes the canoe oar and like puts it on their back just in case. And then they grab the handles. They wait for you to get in the cart.
I
Yeah,
throw,
like,
Lounge in it
Crawl in like,
luxuriously.
so the ore is just thrown away on like one side of the cart, and then I put my broom on the other side, and then I'm like,
There's little hooks to carry stuff alongside. Like it's a nice like
Yeah.
cart. wheelbarrow size, but a large wheelbarrow, room enough to stretch out.
Yeah, there's rings on the side that are meant for other things. So,
Yeah.
But what you actually do is you take the broom and you put it into the ring, and you take the oar and put it into the other ring, and then you do it both ways, like a kayak.
Yeah.
This shall be my chariot, and I shall ride and soar the very heavens.
And you do that.
Or the Bazaar.
Your head hits a foot, and Neville is like there's a little bench. They're just like sitting in it. Yeah, this is really nice. Like they kind of bounce on the seat, and it's got a little cushion to it.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, boss. That's fine. Got the best eyes, you. So tall you can see everything. I'm not gonna say the word crony, but
yeah.
Okay.
Just a very sincere and honest individual, clearly.
That's why you keep them around.
I need to be out of here pretty soon.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I think we can kind of like end it there. Like as you wrap up, you guys have like lunch at the thing before you begin to set out. Mm-hmm. So we'll end it. We'll end it there with the cut of you like lounging on the thing and like loading up the cart to carry on for the next adventure, whenever that would be.
Mm-hmm. The cart gets taken away, and then like the title of our show or whatever gets left like under the cart, and yeah.
Although it just occurred to me how to find out where to find or one way to try to find who to talk to resolve this crystal issue.
Sure.
Which we can do with the start of the next one, but I just want to say it so that I'll maybe possibly remember.
Yeah.
Which is that I'll start complaining about how in the good old days the crystals used to work just fine and were great, but now they suck, and hopefully that'll lead to the.
You want to tap into like the old man, like, oh, I heard somebody complaining about something. I must tell them my opinions.
Are you saying you want to make crystals great again?
Oh, I wouldn't put it that way. I'm trying to.
A bunch of red caps pass by. Like, what you thinking? And also, I need to do a voice that isn't like gravelly New Yorker next time. Those are like the two voices that I did. So.
Do you mean red caps as like the little gnome creatures or whatever?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or as that was a flawless play on words. I love it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That means we're done for the day.
The MAGA unsealy.
Into the caves.
Yeah.
MCGA. They're working on a name still. It's yeah. Yeah. So that's my part done. I've been your Meatybones host, Jean Adaser.
Meatybones.
Yes.
Meatybones. The best improv game because it's mine, and I. And we worked out some more. Another duel roll that if you want to go back to the duel, like the stakes still stand, but they get harder for whoever won or lost, depending on how I want to phrase that. So thank you for helping me work that out.
Well, thank you.
I'm going to say my goodbye stuff. Yes, I'm twitch.tv/theposhpanda. I do a bunch of RPG drawings all the time, and soon, hopefully in the next month or so, I will be setting up regular Meatybones streams, longer campaigns for more of my friends. Because I do miss playing all the games. My computer was broken for 2 weeks. It was awful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Twitter at Adaser, Adaser, and Instagram kind of at Adasergram. It's spelled the same way, but with the word gram on it. That's me, and I am done. I am all done. That's me. Brad, you're the usual host. You should go next.
All right. So you can find me here at twitch.tv/RPGlory or at mixer.com/RPGlory, or you can find fairly extensive archives at YouTube/C/RPGlory, or you can yell at me directly at on Twitter at RPGlory, DOTCOM. I will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific for some should be more D&D. Lords of Chaos. It's a pretty crazy campaign, and I guess that is all. There's like I could. There's other things I could mention passing, but I'll just add it on. So yeah, Adam Spook, you wanna
Adam?
say a thing?
After you, darling.
Hi, I'm Eric Vulgaris. You can find me at twitch.tv/Eric Vulgaris.
No, you're not.
I
That's
make
not you at all.
tabletop RPG overlays. Adam also does tabletop role-playing game overlays. I've done a few in my day.
And I'm Spook. Hi. Sorry I was late. I stayed up till noon playing 5e. Sorry I drifted out. I found that the term that the Japanese use for the gap between like the top of the high socks and the bottom of the skirt is called the AT field, which is like the thing that angels have from Evangelion, and that just like blew my fucking mind. I know. Anyway, and hi, my name is Spook. If you like Hacking Infinity, or if one of the reasons you like Hacking Infinity is because there's a spook on it, you can also go to twitch.tv/Nate Warblind, who is my friend, who I'm also sometimes on the internet with. Big love to everyone. Be good to yourselves and each other. Boom.
Yay.
Ah. So
All those things.
thanks again everyone for hanging out. Eric, thank you so much for the raid. I very much appreciate it. And for Eric's
Missed
peeps,
it.
thank you for hanging out with us. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Have a good one, everybody.
Be good to each other.